Welcome to the Mountain Magnolia Show, where your host, Mary Noble Braden, will introduce you to Swannanoa Valley's most interesting and most iconic individuals.
Let's give 'em something to talk about.
Hello to all you wonderful listeners out there. This is Mary Noble Braden on the Mountain Magnolia Radio Show. I just want to thank each and every one of you for listening to the show today and remind you that our focus here is to reveal the heart and soul of our beautiful community here in Western North Carolina. And as y'all know, every week I love to share a quote or just a Magnolia moment that's opened our hearts. I know for the last two shows we have been doing Dr. Wayne Dyer, Living the Wisdom of the Tao. And I'm going to continue doing that because that was what was in my briefcase. So let's pick a quote today. And it is the 62nd verse. I am a divine creation of the Tao, as are all others. I cast out no one. Rather, I cast out wickedness by elevating others with my deeds. That is a good one. I am divine creation of the Tao, as are all others. I cast out no one. Rather, I cast out wickedness by elevating others with my deeds. Nice. Well, today, guys, we've got another great guest on our show. Samira Price, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And Samira is right here in Black Mountain, and she is the owner of Brew Naturals. And we are going to get all into all about Samira and Brew Naturals. So tell the audience how you got to Western North Carolina.
All right. Back in, well, I suppose we should take it way back to the 90s. I visited Asheville ever so briefly once as a teenager. And in my heart, I knew I was like drawn to the Highlands, having grown up mostly in Jacksonville, Florida, where it is super flat and always hot and never seasons and never colors. You know what I mean? So as an adult, around 2007, 2008, we had friends that were living in Ridgecrest, and they were always very, very generous and hospitable. So every time we had a 3 or a 4 day weekend, we would get in the car and come visit our friends. We'd stay in their house and, go back home. My husband and I were both not fans of Florida for a lot of the same reasons.
Not fans.
Not fans of Florida. We were brought there originally against our wills as younger children, the whole thing. But one day I looked at him and I said, why are we going home? We don't like it there. And 6 weeks later, we lived here.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you guys made a decision pretty fast.
That is the only way we know how to do it. It's either impulsive or it never happens.
Hey, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, so you've been here for a while. We talked earlier. You have definitely had your experience with several entrepreneurial journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear how Brew Naturals came about.
So when I did move here, we had a almost 3-year-old. His birthday is actually tomorrow, and it was the day or two before his birthday when we moved. So it's exactly 14 years. But he was on his way to preschool, and I kept hearing about elderberry. It's going to keep you well. It's going to keep you healthy. That's what most people know about elderberry, is that reputation for immune support. And my husband says I know how to pick a project. And so one day I looked up the recipe and made some. I understand that that's one data point, but all winter long, all through the fall, through the germies of the school, we never got sick. And so the following year, obviously, I did it again. And as one does when you are young with a family and strapped for cash, I made elderberry products for friends and family that year as holiday gifts. And then the following year, they were literally soliciting it from me. They were like, by the way, that's the best elderberry syrup I've ever had. You're going to do that again, right? Okay, sure.
Yes.
And at that point, it definitely wasn't a business. But I was having a bit of a reputation grow about how my syrup worked nicely and it was pleasant and flavorful. And so that season, the preschool where my kid was going to school was looking for a unique fundraiser. And I said, well, I know how to do this, and I happen to have all the ingredients to do this. How about I make it, you sell it, you keep the revenue. And I raised them a pretty penny. And my husband metaphorically, jabs me in the side and says, what are you doing? And why aren't you doing that for us? The irony being that I had just started a completely different business. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm only one person.
Yeah.
Right. And so ironically enough, this actually did have a place in that other business. It was a snack truck. And so I was doing local, organic, vegan, gluten-free, paleo, non-GMO, artificial flavor, color, and preservative-free snacks, drinks, and frozen treats. And of the things that I was carrying, most of it was local sort of stuff. Your Bucci, your Shanti, your Waynesville Soda Jerks, Gourmet Chip Company, Poppy, all those kind of great hyper-local products. But I also ended up doing an elderberry spritzer and an elderberry lemonade and an elderberry lemon popsicle. And people loved it. They absolutely loved it. And as you can imagine, that's where I was able to protect my margins better than buying wholesale and selling at a slight upcharge. I had what I had into it energy-wise and ingredient-wise.
Yeah.
But I was still able to, charge $5 for a soda. So
Yeah, Starbucks does.
I know. Still makes me feel a little squeamish sometimes, but yeah. But it was well within the competition, and they loved it. So that's how this sort of manifested as a part of that business. And then my original vision was, after he, metaphorically nudged me, I was like, fine, we'll figure something out. And I imagined that they would hold opposite schedules. That one was going to be primarily, late spring through early fall, and the other one was going to be fall through early spring. That is not how that worked out. That worked out to 9 days off in an entire year.
Oh, gosh.
But you live, you learn, and at the end of a year holding them both, within, super duper tight grip, I almost to the penny, they had identical revenue. And at that point, it's a no-brainer because the amount of energy and finances it takes to get a snack truck to a festival and set up for the whole weekend. I mean, it was fun, but it was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so and I was always terrified that I would break my leg or something, and then we wouldn't be able to go to the festival, or somebody would drive the van to the festival, get it in an accident or something like that. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't have that, because I want to say that I would be the better person if that happened, but I would also be panic stricken, because what if it's in the shop for 3 weeks and I have other festivals that I now can't go to? You know what I mean?
It's okay to take the simpler route.
So, exactly. So Elderberry turned into the simpler route.
Yeah, which is great. Well, yeah, we have to have a lot of that in our businesses and figure out what works and doesn't. And you did.
I did.
Which is good as you. So, tell us how we talked earlier, how you envision people incorporating elderberry into their lives.
Yes. So my soapbox is that most people come to elderberry knowing very little. They know it's great for immune support, and beyond that, they don't have much context of how to use it or why they would want to use it. And to be 100% honest, elderberries, they're a little bit bitter, they're a little bit sour, and so you have to play with different spice profiles to make a nice, pleasant, palatable product. But they grow wild here. They grow in most people's backyards. They grow on most street corners around here, and for that matter, across most of the country. And so I have a little bit of an educational background with anthropology, so I've always been interested in indigenous folk remedies and folk food cultures and food ways and stuff like that. I also have a background in public health, so it just kind of all came together in this swarming interest of mine. And I was like, we're not treating this like it's medicine. It is, but it's not. It's food. And so I wanted to demonstrate how versatile elderberry could be. And I started, of course, with syrup, because everyone starts with syrup. But then I was doing an elderberry lemonade that was really quite a hot ticket at the tailgate markets. And from there, I made an elderberry sour mix so that you could use it as a cocktail mixer. And so that people could recreate it easily enough at home if they wanted an elderberry lemonade. And then from there, I did an elderberry apple butter. And then I was like, okay, that was fun, but what other fruits go with elderberry? And I discovered elderberry peach butter with a little bit of heat from some cayenne and some ginger, and an elderberry pear butter that's a sweet cinnamon sort of background. And these days I do an elderberry port wine jam, and it's highly reserved, like a very small batch of that. But I do that. And then in the fall, I do a cranberry elderberry orange sauce. Think of it like a cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
But it's got a different sort of zip and pizzazz to it. And so my spreads work brilliantly for charcuterie boards. They're definitely not PB&J sort of things, but they're really fun.
Would this be like, so I've got the elderberry peach butter right here. I mean, does this have as much elderberry as your plain syrup
It does. It does. That's the goal, is to keep it in proportion, so that you are still, if you're coming to elderberry with the thought of quote unquote daily dosing, you're still going to have it that way.
That's amazing. So yeah, I mean, if I could do syrup or some peach butter, I would definitely choose some peach butter.
For me, it's a gin and tonic with elderberry in it. Call it an Appalachian Mountain Mule.
That's perfect.
Gin and ginger beer, a little bit of elderberry.
Yeah, or if you want a mocktail, you can do a mocktail.
Yes, I was saying earlier too. The Kin Euphorics is a 0 proof mixer, and it is nice with a tonic water or club soda and a little bit of elderberry.
I want to try it. That's good. Well, you also are at a lot of the farmers markets, Black Mountain, and you do a lot of festivals.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys sign up for Brew Naturals newsletter, and you can find out what festivals or what markets, because Samara loves to go to festivals.
Yes, I do enjoy that. I have wholesale accounts. I have street fairs and festivals, things like the Herb Fest and Sourwood Festival and the Bigfoot Festival and the Morning Glory Festival and the Apple Festival, all the festivals. I love the festivals.
You know all of those.
I love the festivals. And then I am more regularly at the North Asheville Tailgate Market, and I am sometimes at the Black Mountain Tailgate Market. But unfortunately, this season didn't work out exactly predictably. So sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah. And how do they sign up for the newsletter?
My website, brewnaturals.com. The first pop-up will be, do you want to join our newsletter?
All right. And I will also put that information in our Facebook and Instagram posts.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So, okay, we talked a little bit about what type of products that you had or you have. Mm-hmm. What's your number one seller?
Definitely the elderberry syrup.
Okay, just because people...
That's what people know,
yeah.
you know, and for as much as I want them to play with it, it is an educational opportunity to explain to them the ways in which they might play with it. I love my elderberry syrup, for example, on half a grapefruit. It's really, really nice that way. I like to put it in tea. I like to put it in apple cider sometimes. Obviously the lemonade, spritzers and such as that. It tastes lovely, so off a spoon is also totally an option, but it doesn't have to be that limited. I like to make it into a vinaigrette. Oh, it's really good on tomatoes.
Oh, I can see that.
For sure. And I have recently created a recipe for a barbecue sauce. It is such a simple recipe. Scout's honor, I do not have recipes that are complicated. A handful of ingredients, and it's an elderberry barbecue sauce that will knock your socks off.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just love that you told me, because I would have never believed it. That there's as much elderberry in this peach butter as there is in a 4-ounce thing of syrup.
Yep.
So why wouldn't you do?
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about just your facility where you make the...
Sure.
So tell the audience, like, I guess you probably buy it by bulk?
Yeah, okay. So I'm out here in Black Mountain in the little purple cottage on 100 West Street. And that's not a retail brick and mortar, but it is the production kitchen. And it is an evolution from the original days where I was making it, 3-gallon pots at a time, which was tedious. And now I have a 40-gallon kettle that I use. So I'm making pretty big batches. It's technically a 40-gallon kettle, but I basically do 24 gallons at a time. Oh yeah, it's like a vertical bathtub. I mean, I'm 5'2", and it comes to like my rib cage, and it's deep and it's wide, and you can barely reach the other side. It's pretty big. And so I am harvesting and or getting berries from regional farmers primarily, although the storm did compromise some of that. When I have to, I can get berries in bulk from the Midwest Elderberry Co-op, which is a collection of farmers basically out in the Midwest that are devoted to this monocrop dynamic. Wow. And they get together and they price set so that they're all, competition is reasonable. But yeah, I go through well over 1,000 pounds of elderberries a year at this point, so and they're teeny tiny. Just for a reference, that the little 9-ounce jar, that's a 4-ounce one on the table, but a 9-ounce jar will have 3,000 elderberries in it.
Oh my gosh.
So if you can imagine the amount of berries that might be in about 1,000 pounds of berries, it's a lot. But I'm very committed to using domestically grown berries because they grow here, right? Most manufacturers of elderberry products will source European berries because they come dehydrated, they're easier to store. But in addition to the carbon footprint dynamic of that, I look at local berries and I see a quality difference, really, because when you think about it, if you take something like a dehydrated berry, you've left the skin and you've left the seeds. Those are the two bitter parts of the berry.
Okay.
And if you leave it intact, you have the sweetness, to the extent that an elderberry is a little bit sweet. You have the sweetness of the juices, and so it comes out with a much fresher flavor profile. And people taste it all the time. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know elderberry could taste good. And I'm like, I've heard that before.
You figured it out.
I have. Thank you.
Man, 9,000 elderberries in a 9-ounce.
3,000 in a 9-ounce jar.
Oh, sorry, got it wrong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 3,000, that's still a lot.
That's a lot. They're teeny tiny. They're about a third the size of a blueberry.
Well, an elderberry is considered food, but
yes.
It is considered medicinal, right?
Yep. I think of it as a superfood, our very own native grown superfood right here. It doesn't have to be the acai berry or whatever the newfangled things are. They're here and they're amazing for you. Yeah. I'm really impressed with them.
What are some of the benefits that you have researched?
Sure. The research supports immune support, antiviral dynamic, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant qualities.
That's
so
great.
It's, I tell people, I promise you, I'm not a snake oil salesman, but it really is kind of good for what ails you. Mm-hmm.
It's true.
It's true.
And it's just about time to be that time of the fall and
It
winter
is.
where we're getting coughs and colds.
Yes, and that's another thing people ask me, like if I'm going to treat it more like a supplement than a food, or if I'm going to incorporate it every day so that I'm trying to avoid, being sick, how would you suggest? And the answer to that, based in the research, is using it every day has been shown to prevent's a strong word, but the instances of cold and flu in the participants of those studies was less frequent. So it seems to help to prevent cold and flu during the season, but it can also shorten the duration, and that's kind of cool too. So if you're using it every day, you might get fewer colds and flus, and if you're not using it every day, but you the minute you feel it coming on, the first sniffles, the first I wonder if that's allergies, or start using your elderberry diligently for a couple days and it will usually knock it out. I mean, I'm one data point, right? But I've only had one cold, flu, COVID experience, one in 11 years where I wasn't, where I was down for more than 2 days.
I've used the oxacillum, so I'm going to use elderberry and the oxacillum.
Nice.
Got my couple things. Well, I think what you're doing is amazing, and it is so wonderful we have you here in Black Mountain at the Purple Building.
I appreciate that. What people don't know, because I'm on the radio conversation here, is that I also have purple hair and I always wear purple. So when I pulled around the corner the day that building was going up for rent, and I saw that it was going up for rent, I'm like, whoa, 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 stop. You don't need to tell anyone that that's for rent. That's mine.
And you make purple syrup.
And I make a purple syrup. Yes, I'm the purple elderberry girl. Everything but the car at this point, and it's a stretch goal. I'll wrap it
Your
one
house
day.
is purple?
No, but the business is.
It is. It's been that way.
It
so-
has.
No, that is wonderful. Well, I want to share all your information on Facebook. I usually put a post out right before the show, and you guys can look at the website and look at all the products Brew Natural has. And you said that if anybody's interested in something, they can sign up for your newsletter.
Yes.
When they order, do you pick up or mail?
I can do a porch pickup. I do ship all across the country. And I have a handful of zip codes in the region where I'm willing to do a delivery for a $5 charge.
Oh, that's good.
It's not 100% of the region, but it's most of the region.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I just think your product is great, and we all need to take elderberry, especially in the fall and winter.
Yeah.
So thanks for keeping everybody healthy
My pleasure.
and being part of this community.
Thank you.
Well, before I ask you the closing question, is there anything else you want to share?
No, I think that's about good.
Yeah, we had a great talk. It was great. So, all right, we ask our guests to share one thing with the audience that has changed their life for the better.
I am still a dog person, but I have become a cat person, and I think that counts for this in particular. I have decided that kitties are medicine, and I love that they're purring, and I love that they're soft and cuddly, and I'm smitten with my cats right now.
Oh, that's sweet. I had 2 kittens a couple weeks ago. My cousin had, and I hadn't spent time with the kittens in a long time. I'm a dog person. I have 3 dogs. But I couldn't believe when they're that young just how interested they are in everything. And they're just
They're curious, and
Yes.
they're playful, and they're quirky. They'll make you laugh.
kitty medicine. They were intense about the things. They weren't scared about anything. So thanks for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Yes. Well, I really thank you for coming on the show and revealing the heart and soul of our community. So thank you for doing what you do, and I'm looking forward to just seeing your business flourish. And I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to get to know you and get to know your product, because that's what the Mountain Magnolia show is about. It's about how I just ran into you the other day, and I was like, you want to be on the show? And you were like, sure. Now people can hear your story. You don't have to repeat it.
I love it.
I
I love it. I love being able to sit here and have a real conversation as opposed to trying to produce content for, say, Instagram, where I'm pretending to have a conversation.
Right.
I'm not. That makes me really uncomfortable. But, I do it sometimes, but it's awkward.
It's true. Well, you guys look for the Facebook and Instagram posts, because you're going to want to see her purple hair and purple shirt, and then order her purple syrup.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for listening to the Mountain Magnolia show, and a big shout out to 96.1 being such a wonderful local radio show in Cameron. Thank you so much for always showing up for me and helping with all the things. Cameron's awesome. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful week.
Thank you for joining us for Mountain Magnolias with your hosts, Mary Noble Braden and Leanne Lewis. Join us next time for more interesting stories from the Swannanoa's most interesting people as we give you something to talk about.
Let's give 'em something to talk
Mountain Magnolias is a production of Noble & Company Realty in Black Mountain. For more information, please call them at 828-357-5243, 828 357 5243.